Chapter 2531, Miaojing and Zai Yaowai, 32. Qi Minlin headed straight for Grandma Zai's room. "Auntie, Brother Zai told me that you're not feeling well. Where do you feel the discomfort? If you really feel unwell, I'll send you to the hospital with Brother Zai. There are some things that shouldn't be delayed." Qi Minlin interrupted the mother and son's conversation. Grandma Zai was stunned. "Why is Minlin in our house?" Qi Minlin smiled. "Auntie, did Brother Zai not tell you that I was here?" No wonder she had waited for such a long time downstairs. It turned out that Auntie Zai didn't even know about her presence. Auntie Zai liked her so much. She would immediately have gone down the moment she learned that she was here. There was no way she would have kept her waiting alone. "Auntie, what's wrong? Do you want me to massage you?" Since they had been chatting for such a long time, Auntie Zai's condition was probably not so bad to necessitate a visit to the hospital, right? It was just as well. She would use the chance to be filial to Auntie Zai and curry favor with her. Seeing Qi Minlin's flattering smile, Grandma Zai shivered subconsciously and moved aside. "No, I feel all right now. You don't have to massage me." Qi Minlin felt that it was a pity that she hadn't been able to show off. "Auntie, shall I stay here and spend some time with you and Brother Zai?" Grandma Zai shook her head. Although she was around, it was better for Qi Minlin and her son not to remain in the same room. It would be embarrassing for her son if word were to get around. "I'm all right now. I can get off my bed. We'd better go downstairs. It's more convenient to talk downstairs." Qi Minlin had wanted to support Grandma Zai, but she lifted her hand for Zai Yaowai to support her instead, causing Qi Minlin's hands to remain in the air awkwardly. But Qi Minlin refused to give up. After Grandma Zai got off the bed, she walked over to Grandma Zai's side, wanting to help Grandma Zai down with Zai Yaowai. From that, it really did seem like Zai Yaowai and Qi Minlin were a couple. That made Grandma Zai feel even more upset. Although she was unwilling, she was already used to keeping the peace and had no way of rejecting Qi Minlin. With that, Grandma Zai slowly made her way downstairs with Qi Minlin's help. When she arrived downstairs, Grandma Zai quickly retracted her hand. After seeing Qi Minlin sit down, she quickly sat down on another sofa. "I want to sit here." Qi Minlin frowned slightly, feeling that there was something strange about Grandma Zai today. "Auntie Zai, I'll sit with you." Grandma Zai reached out her hand to reject her. "No need. This sofa is meant for one person." In the past, Qi Minlin would definitely have taken the chance to sit with Zai Yaowai on the two-seater sofa. She would have felt that Grandma Zai was the most open-minded mother-in-law, who was helping her get closer to Zai Yaowai. But not today. Before leaving the house, Old Master Shi had reminded Qi Minlin again and again that Zai Yaowai was no longer the most important person, but Grandma Zai. Winning Grandma Zai's heart would mean winning the entire family's heart. For Qi Minlin, Grandma Zai was the easiest person to break through. But they had not kept in contact over the past year, and Qi Minlin did feel quite guilty in front of Grandma Zai. As such, Qi Minlin looked shyly at Zai Yaowai, seemingly trying to comfort him before running to Grandma Zai's side like a good daughter-in-law. "That's all right. I'll sit beside you. It's enough for me. Auntie, I've been quite busy and haven't been able to visit you lately. I missed you. I want to sit with you and not with anyone else now." The anyone else was obviously Zai Yaowai. Grandma Zai was already trying her best to avoid Qi Minlin, yet Qi Minlin insisted on sitting with her. Grandma Zai was on the brink of tears yet again. Previously, it had been tears of sadness. Now, they were tears of grievance. The one whom she liked hadn't stayed, while the one whom she disliked insisted on staying by her side and making a din. It was all her son's fault. If her son wasn't so useless and had won Meow Meow's heart, Meow Meow wouldn't have left. It was all because they hadn't shown their appreciation to the one they should have but liked the one they shouldn't have that had led to this situation. Grandma Zai took a deep breath. Minlin, you're here for Yaoi, right? If the two of you need to chat, there's no need for me to be involved. The weather looks good today. I'm going out to have a walk. She couldn't be bothered about her son. Her son could like whomever he wanted and marry whomever he liked. Couldn't she have some space and time for herself? Grandma Zai stood up and intended on leaving, but Chi Minlin was determined to cling to her today instead of having some time with her son. Yes, the weather looks good. Auntie, I'll follow you. Let's leave Brother Zai alone. I'll follow you. He was the one who didn't contact me for a whole year while he was in the military. Chi Minlin seemed to be throwing a tantrum at Zai Yaoi as though they were a very close couple. Grandma Zai nearly had a heart attack upon hearing that. Why did she not know about her son getting so close to Chi Minlin? This was bad. She wanted to get rid of Chi Minlin and let Zai Yaoi handle her. But Chi Minlin was no different from superglue that Grandma Zai couldn't get rid of today. Grandma Zai had always been weak, and her emotions affected her health. Seeing that Grandma Zai's heartache was very well going to turn into a true ailment, Zai Yaoi quickly stepped up. Mom, don't go into the sun. Why don't you take a nap? Chi Minlin, I'm sorry to have to make you wait. I'll help my mom up. You can have some tea and wait here. People with some self-awareness ought to leave when they saw that the host was not feeling well. But Chi Minlin didn't see herself as an outsider, and of course, she didn't have such self-awareness. If Auntie is feeling unwell, you should find a doctor. If you don't want to go to the hospital, we can call a doctor over. Auntie, I'll help you. Zai Yaoi decisively refused. No need. You're a guest. It isn't right for you to help out. I think it's right that I should get a doctor over. Chi Minlin, I'm sorry, but we don't have time to entertain you today. If you want to visit my mom, you can come over another day when my mom is feeling better. You don't have to entertain me. I can help out. We don't need help from our guests. Chi Minlin, please leave. Since Chi Minlin didn't understand his words earlier, Zai Yaoi could only be more explicit and straightforward. Chapter 2532, Miaojing and Zai Yaoi, 33. If you want to take care of my mom, leaving would be the greatest help you can give. Both Chi Minlin and Grandma Zai were a little stunned. Grandma Zai had never thought that Zai Yaoi would be capable of saying such blunt words, and neither had Chi Minlin expected that Zai Yaoi had stopped her from taking care of Grandma Zai not because he was afraid that she would get tired from taking care of her, but because he treated her as an outsider and was trying to chase her out. Chi Minlin's face paled. Brother Zai, what did you say? I didn't get that. Did I misunderstand you? That was impossible. If Zai Yaoi treated her in this way, how could he have chased that countryside girl away even when knowing that Chief Zai liked that girl? Hadn't Zai Yaoi done that for her sake? Besides, she couldn't have overthought it, right? Otherwise, why had that countryside girl lived here for such a long time but had suddenly moved out once Zai Yaoi returned? That didn't make any sense. I'm not sure whether there has been a misunderstanding. What I know is that there must have been one in the past. Chi Minlin, please leave. Although we're not together alone in a room, it's hard for people not to misunderstand us. It wouldn't be good if this leads to a fight between you and your boyfriend. We grew up together and I'm your elder brother. If anyone bullies you, you can find me. I'll help you. Elder brother? Boyfriend. At the mention of these two words, Chi Minlin felt dizzy as though the whole world was spinning around her. She nearly lost her balance. Brother Zai, what do you mean? Since when have I ever had a boyfriend? Chi Minlin quickly explained herself. It's true that I have some male friends, but my boyfriend is you. Chi Minlin was intelligent and understood that the Zai family's position might have been threatened over the past 10 years, but they had never toppled. As such, Chi Minlin had never severed her ties with Zai Yayawai so that she would still have a backup plan. Even though she had always had men around her, Chi Minlin had always maintained a distance from them and had never allowed herself to go all the way with them. In fact, they were all good friends. None of the men had ever been able to call themselves Chi Minlin's boyfriend. That was why Chi Minlin had managed to answer Zai Yayawai in a breeze. It was just that such a rapid answer sometimes revealed one's guilt even more. This was the 70s. Unless men and women were prepared to get married, it was rare for men and women to go out together, much less hold hands. When one man and woman's hands accidentally touched, they would inevitably blush. Often, men didn't even dare to look openly at women even when they fell for them. Instead, they had to visit their houses. Although they spoke of gender equality, it wasn't good for male and female comrades to get too close. It was especially easy for females to get misunderstood as immoral. Thankfully, the Shi family's background was good, and Zai Yayawai was outstanding. Otherwise, rumors would have been all around. Since such a brilliant man like Zai Yayawai didn't even mind his fiancée, Chi Minlin, having so many male friends, it was best that bystanders not comment too much about it. After all, it was better to destroy 10 temples than destroy a marriage. Perhaps, it was because of the environment that Chi Minlin comforted herself and thought of it as reality. She had never done anything that wronged Zai Yayawai. She and her male friends only had normal conversations, just like any friends would. There was only one man she was intimate with, and that was her fiancé, Zai Yayawai. Chi Minlin thought that she had seen through the situation perfectly, but Zai Yayawai's reminder was a rude shock to Chi Minlin that everything had been a misunderstanding. The past? What had happened? Of course, it had to be their relationship as an engaged couple. Since Zai Yayawai had already made himself so clear, Chi Minlin had no way of lying to herself or others anymore. Brother Zai, we grew up together. You can be direct with me. I'll go crazy trying to guess. Why don't you just tell me what you mean? I know that you and the Shi family have been telling others that you're my fiancé. You should know very well that our families have never settled this officially, and neither have we ever held any engagement ceremonies or parties. You're just a younger sister to me. He had no romantic feelings for Chi Minlin. Zai Yayawai had not felt it in the past, but now, it felt unbearable to be with Chi Minlin. Zai Yayawai was never one to force himself to do something against his wishes. He would even use silence to deal with things he didn't like. But Zai Yayawai had already thought it through. He had to clear the air between him and Chi Minlin. Younger sister. Even though Chi Minlin had already seen that coming, those words made Chi Minlin feel incredulous. Younger sister? Who was he trying to cheat? Who would have no reaction and remain silent when others said that his younger sister was his fiancée? Was Zai Yayawai trying to lie to her, to others, or to himself? Chi Minlin had to pinch herself to stop herself from exploding. She couldn't wrap her head around the situation. She had listened to her dad and tried to improve her relationship with Auntie Zai. That way, she would receive Auntie Zai's affirmation and Auntie Zai would urge Zai Yayawai to marry her as quickly as possible so that she would officially become the Zai family's daughter-in-law. She hadn't even started working on Auntie Zai, and Zai Yayawai had stopped her before she could even do anything. Zai Yayawai's attitude had changed so quickly and he had become so firm with no room for negotiation that they were simply siblings and not an engaged couple, all because of that vixen from the countryside. When Miaojing left, Chi Minlin had happily thought that she had won. Chi Minlin had coincidentally bumped into Miaojing while leaving, and Miaojing had even said some congratulatory words to her. At that time, Chi Minlin thought that she had stepped all over Miaojing. But now that she looked back at it, Chi Minlin felt that she had been challenged. Chapter 2533, Miaojing and Zai Yayawai, 34. At that time, that vixen from the countryside had not been begging for mercy. Instead, she had been mocking her. Chi Minlin really wanted to ask Zai Yayawai what he saw in Miaojing. In what way was Miaojing better than her that Zai Yaowai would give her up for Miaojing's sake? Because of a third party like Miaojing who came from the countryside, Zai Yaowai was going to give up on their feelings which they had developed since they were young? There were too many things that Qi Minlin wanted to ask and do. But she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to control her emotions once she started speaking and would explode. Only failures weren't able to control themselves. Even if Zai Yaowai didn't want to be with her, she had to have self-control and not embarrass herself in this situation. To do so, Qi Minlin nearly pierced through her palm with her fingernail. Her eyes brimmed with tears. "Brother Zai, you should know that I've never treated you like a biological brother. I've always..." "Brother Zai, how could you not know how I felt all these years? Brother Zai, we were fine in the past. Can you tell me why you suddenly think of me as a sister instead of your partner or fiancé?" Zai Yaowai felt a little guilty because of Qi Minlin's question. Why? Zai Yaowai realized that he had always been rather vague toward Qi Minlin. His actions made it unclear whether he regarded Qi Minlin as a sister or a partner. It was only after Miaojing's appearance that Zai Yaowai started feeling differently. Especially when he returned home after a year and saw Miaojing, Zai Yaowai felt that he was no longer able to see Qi Minlin as a partner. Zai Yaowai was pretty clear about this in his heart. He felt that it was this change in attitude that had led to the change in feelings for Qi Minlin. In that way, Qi Minlin was innocent. He was the one at fault. He wasn't afraid of admitting to his mistake so that he could correct it. "Minlin, I'm sorry that I didn't clarify how I truly felt in the past. That's why you've been hurt. But I really treat you as my biological younger sister. If you have any trouble in the future, you can always come to look for me." Zai Yaowai knew that Qi Minlin had close male friends, but she was right. She had male friends, not boyfriends. Qi Minlin hadn't given up on her childhood sweetheart for another man. It was Zai Yaowai who had brought up the matter of backing out. As a responsible man, Zai Yaowai indeed felt that he owed Qi Minlin in this case. It wasn't overboard to return whatever he owed. He would naturally make it up to Qi Minlin. Qi Minlin's face paled as her hands started trembling. "Brother Zai, is it really impossible between us? Will it be possible if I try harder? Or if we give ourselves more time?" Why? What rights did Zai Yaowai have to kick her aside and say that he only regarded her as a sister now that he had made a name for himself? How could Zai Yaowai be so blind to choose a vixen from the countryside over her when she was so outstanding? This was unfair. Too unfair. Qi Minlin hated Zai Yaowai for being so brutal, as well as old Zai and Grandma Zai for being so heartless. Even when faced with the years of relationships they had built up and Zai Yaowai's foolish decision, neither old Zai nor Grandma Zai had tried to stop Zai Yaowai. The elderly couple had even respected Zai Yaowai's foolish wishes. Qi Minlin hated the Zai family to her guts. She wanted to see just how well the Zai family would do in the future since they would rather have an ignorant countryside bumpkin as their daughter-in-law and give up such a good daughter-in-law like her. There would come a day the Zai family would regret choosing Miaojing over her. She would definitely wait for such a day to come. She would use facts to prove to the Zai family that only women like her had the right to become the mistress of a family like the Zai family. It's impossible. Zai Yaowai had already thought it through. It was impossible between him and Qi Minlin. Of course, he couldn't give Qi Minlin any room for imagination. If he was soft-hearted at this point, then he would really be harming Qi Minlin because she would be unable to regain her senses for a long time. "Minlin, you're a good girl. You'll definitely find someone who'll truly love you and cherish you. But that person isn't you, right?" Hee, Qi Minlin laughed self-deprecatingly. "I like you but you don't like me. Is that person who'll love and cherish me important? No, of course not. Brother Zai, I really don't understand why you would have a change of heart so quickly. Are men more heartless than women? You managed to pull yourself out, but I can't. Brother Zai, it's best that we don't meet. Otherwise, I'm afraid that I'll get even more upset." With that, Chi Minlin cupped her crying face and ran out of the Zai family's house. Zai Yayawai took a long, deep breath. No matter what, this matter with Chi Minlin was finally over. Mom, now that Chi Minlin is gone, do you want me to send you to the hospital, or do you want me to call a doctor over? Forget it. I think I'd better call a doctor over. Grandma Zai pushed Zai Yayawai aside. There's no need to call a doctor or send me to the hospital. I feel much better now. Of course, if you're able to get Meow Meow back, I won't feel any discomfort at all. I'll probably be even more energetic and alive. Mom, were you faking it earlier? While Chi Minlin was around, his mom had been so unwell that she needed a doctor. But the moment Chi Minlin left, his mom's expression looked much better. Was Chi Minlin poison? Of course it was real. Why would I fake an illness at my age? Be careful about what you say. Grandma Zai rolled her eyes at Zai Yayawai. But it was good as long as her son didn't have feelings for Minlin. How had she not realized earlier that Minlin didn't fit in with their family? It would only cause everyone pain if they had to live together. Chapter 2534, Miaojing and Zai Yayawai, 35. What had she been thinking? What had she even seen in Chi Minlin to think that she should be part of the Zai family? Thinking about her past self, Grandma Zai could only say that she must have been in an unclear state of mind. Mom, stop it! His mom's face had been so pale earlier. How could she have gotten better just because Chi Minlin had left? I'll get the doctor over. Do what you like. I'm really feeling fine now. Grandma Zai couldn't care less. If you really want me to be healthy and live happily, get Meow Meow back. If you marry Meow Meow and give me a grandson, I can die in peace even if I die right away. Mom, Zai Yayawai's expression changed. He hated his mom's analogy. Both he and old Zai hated it when Grandma Zai said these words. All right, I won't say that word. Now, why don't you tell me when you'll bring Meow Meow back and get married? You already learned about Meow Meow's family a year ago. We really owe Meow Meow too much. Besides, I don't think that it's repaying kindness by marrying Meow Meow. You're my son. Do you think your dad and I don't understand you? Your dad was the only one who thought that way in the past, but now, I agree with him. Yayawai, Meow Meow is really a good girl and she's suitable for you. If you're clear about how you feel, you'd better grab this opportunity and not miss out on Meow Meow. If you don't cherish a good young lady like Meow Meow, someone else who cherishes her will marry her. It'll be too late to regret it then. Opportunities waited for no man. Old Zai had wanted to visit the Meow family earlier to repay Father Meow for saving his life. But because of the 10 years of turmoil, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to repay the Meow family by visiting them and might even bring trouble to the Meow family for the third time. Who would have known that there was no need for the Zai family to be afraid of anyone after the situation stabilized? Miaojing was the only one left of the Meow family anyway. This had always been a huge regret in old Zai's heart. As old Zai's wife, Grandma Zai's heart ached for her husband too. That was why old Zai's and Grandma Zai's attitudes toward Miaojing were different. She was the only one left in the family, after all. In the past, Grandma Zai might have thought that this was simply her and her husband's thoughts. But today's incidents proved that Zai Yayawai had such thoughts too. Mom, what are you talking about? Didn't I say I'll call for the doctor? Go ahead. I didn't stop you from calling the doctor. Yayawai, Meow Meow is pretty and capable of doing household chores. Now, she even has a job and earns money for herself. Don't you think that the workers in the factory will soon introduce men to Meow Meow? What if Meow Meow brings her partner over to our house? Should your dad and I help out? Actually, it'll be good if Meow Meow can find someone who will be sincere toward her and treat her well. Meow Meow's so pitiful. She lost her family at birth. I'm sure she yearns for a family of her own. I'm not afraid of anything, but I'm afraid that Meow Meow might not see through her husband. But thankfully, she still has us. Even if she can't judge a person well, your dad and I will be here to help her. Even if we're gone in the future, Meow Meow still has you as her brother. Yayawai, promise me that you'll take good care of Meow Meow and not let others bully her. If Meow Meow gets bullied, your dad and I won't let you go. You'll have to take responsibility for it. Hearing Grandma Zai's words, Zai Yayawai wondered whether he was indeed their biological son, or whether Miaojing was their true biological child. Mom, stop making such wild guesses. With our family around, no one will bully Meow Meow. Besides, Meow Meow is still young and has just started working. There's no hurry for her to get a partner. If you really want to get a grandchild, wait another year or so. Grandma Zai disagreed. I shouldn't need to wait for a year. You know so many people in the military. There should be good ones, right? I heard your dad say that the Shi family might not be very good, but Chi Minlan has a brother named Shi Peng. Yes, that chap is pretty good, isn't he? Do you two have any interactions in the military? Do you think he's suitable for Meow Meow? If we want to protect Meow Meow, we'd better introduce a good man to her before others do. He was just reluctant to admit it. She didn't believe that she wouldn't be able to force her son to tell her the truth. If Yayawai was willing to introduce a partner to Meow Meow, she wouldn't be Yayawai's mother from now on. Thankfully, Zai Yayawai knew nothing about that. Otherwise, he wouldn't know whether to cry or laugh. She was his mother and he was her son. Was his mom crazy? Shi Peng is a good man, but he isn't suitable for Meow Meow. Not suitable. See, what did she say? Didn't you say that he's a good man? Since he's good, why isn't he suitable? His personality isn't right. What's wrong with his personality? Mom. He's just unsuitable. There's no need for so many questions. It's just a feeling that I can't put into words. Of course, if you really want to know, I'll try my best to tell you why. Thankfully, Zai Yayawai had a quick reaction and indeed thought of several reasons why that man was unsuitable. Because he hadn't been able to pinpoint any specific reasons, even Zai Yayawai himself felt a little guilty and wondered if he had any other ideas toward Miaojing. Look, our family knows all about Meow Meow's situation. My dad and you are open-minded and don't mind that Meow Meow is alone. But what about the Shi family? Will the Shi family be as understanding as us and not mind her poor family background? It wasn't that Zai Yayawai looked down on Miaojing and thought that she had poor conditions. It was the truth, and he was merely speaking for the majority. Any family with slightly better conditions would never pick a young lady like Miaojing who had no familial relations. It was true that Miaojing was pretty, but there was no lack of pretty young ladies with good family backgrounds in this world. No matter what, Miaojing would never stand a chance. Unless Miaojing found someone with similar conditions who wouldn't pick on such problems. But the Shi family had good conditions, and Shi Peng was doing well for himself. That meant the Shi family would definitely be very picky when it came to selecting Shi Peng's wife. Chapter 2535, Miaojing and Zai Yayawai, 36. The Shi family wouldn't fancy ordinary women. There was no chance at all that they would fancy someone like Miaojing. Meow Meow doesn't have a strong character. However, Uncle Shi has the final say in the family. Let's not mention that Shi Peng has no feelings for Meow Meow now. If he really fancies and likes Meow Meow, but Uncle Shi has any opinions about her and despises her, Meow Meow would have no way to retaliate and Shi Peng can't protect Meow Meow. If Shi Peng were to protect her, the Shi family would definitely kick up a fuss, and Meow Meow wouldn't be left with a good reputation. If Miaojing were to get together with Shi Peng, Zai Yayawai couldn't say a single reason why that would be good. On the contrary, if Grandma Zai were to ask him why the two of them were inappropriate together, Zai Yayawai felt that as long as he was given another 3 minutes of thinking time, he could come up with a lot of reasons. Based on your words, Meow Meow can only find someone from her own factory? Alright, if Meow Meow finds someone of a similar background, our family can always protect her. All the young men in the army, including Shi Peng, were under Zai Yaoai's control. However, the male colleagues in Meow Meow's factory weren't. When Meow Meow really had a target in mind, she wanted to see if Yaoai would still be as stubborn as now. The mother-son pair was chatting happily and completely forgot about Chi Minlin. Chi Minlin cried and left. At first, she was just pretending for the Zai family to see. Chi Minlin came knocking on the door today. Based on Grandma Zai's and Zai Yaoai's sudden change of attitude, how would Chi Minlin really give up so easily? Don't even think about it. No matter what, she had to continue to put up a stiff resistance, right? As such, Chi Minlin didn't run too far away. As long as Grandma Zai let Zai Yaoai chase after her, he could reach Chi Minlin in a few steps. Chi Minlin's speed gave Zai Yaoai some leeway to chase after her. Who knew that the conversation between Grandma Zai and Zai Yaoai didn't even mean to leave her any face? Before she ran far, she heard Auntie Zai told Zai Yaoai that as long as she left, her heart felt more comfortable and she no longer needed the doctor. Did Auntie Zai feel uncomfortable because of her appearance? What a joke! When she heard how Grandma Zai addressed Miaojing as Meow Meow so intimately to Zai Yaoai, Chi Minlin nearly vomited blood. What else could Chi Minlin not understand now? The entire Zai family had changed, including Zai Yaoai and Grandma Zai. These people liked Miaojing, who was from the countryside. They treated her as their treasure. Everything she once owned in the Zai family now belonged to Miaojing. Upon thinking that Grandma Zai was really concerned about Miaojing and was afraid that she would be bullied, Chi Minlin's eyes became bloodshot as she left with heavy footsteps. What's wrong? Why are you so angry? Who offended you? What was rare was that Zai Yaoai was home and Chi Minlin's brother, Shi Peng, was also at home. Upon thinking that Zai Yaoai had returned a day earlier than him, Shi Peng asked, "A conflict with Zai Yaoai?" Speaking of Zai Yaoai, Shi Peng really wanted to persuade his sister. They were family. As such, no matter how Chi Minlin used to play, although Shi Peng disagreed, he didn't say much. He was afraid that if he interfered too much, Chi Minlin would become more rebellious. His sister wasn't young anymore. She should grow up and become more sensible. She shouldn't do things that she shouldn't do. Wasn't it good to lead a good and honest life? It wasn't easy to find an outstanding man like Zai Yaoai. It was his sister's blessing to have met Zai Yaoai. However, no amount of blessing could withstand one squandering. If his sister played too much, she might really lose Zai Yaoai. Who knew that before Shi Peng could say his words of persuasion, Chi Minlin exploded first. "Don't mention Zai Yaoai to me again. I disallow you to say his name." Zai Yaoai? Who is he? He actually dared to abandon me? A few years ago, I had boyfriends other than him. He didn't dump me. I didn't want him first. Brother, aren't you aiming for a promotion recently? Brother, you must win. You must be more outstanding than him and suppress him. As long as her brother was better than Zai Yaoai, Zai Yaoai wouldn't be seen as outstanding. Shi Peng was stunned. "Minlin, what's wrong? What happened between you and Zai Yaoai?" It seemed that it wasn't a simple matter like throwing tantrums. Chi Minlin cried. "The Zai family hid a vixen from the countryside. They want her and no longer want me." "Brother." Zai Yaoai said it had nothing to do with me. "He doesn't want me anymore. He only treats me as a sister." "Brother, I'm so sad. You have to help me take revenge." "Take revenge? What kind of revenge?" Indeed, Shi Peng knew that there was another person in the Zai family. However, he never felt that this person would become an obstacle between Zai Yaoai and his sister. Who would have known that? That woman snatched everything away from me. Zai Yaoai's ungrateful. After having that vixen, he forgot about our engagement. That vixen is a third party. Zai Yai abandoned me. He betrayed me. You can't watch me being bullied and not care about me. You have to help me get justice. Shi Peng asked, have you held a banquet with Zai Yai yet? Engagement? Shi Peng admitted that the parents of both families were optimistic about Minlin and Zai Yai being together. However, it was just a tacit attitude without clear words. Now that Shi Peng heard Qi Minlin talk about an engagement, he became different. If his sister was really engaged with Zai Yai, then what Zai Yai did was indeed unkind. He had done something sorry to his sister. As Minlin's brother, he had to help seek justice from Zai Yai for Minlin. However, why didn't he know that they were engaged? No. Then, did Dad and Mom talk to old Zai about the two of you? No. Qi Minlin flew into a rage out of humiliation. Brother, why are you asking me about things that didn't happen before? These aren't important now. What is important is that Zai Yai had another woman behind my back. He did something sorry to me. You have to help me take revenge. Shi Peng could neither laugh nor cry. Both parties' parents didn't talk about the two of you. You didn't hold a wedding banquet either. Then, did you and Zai Yai talk about marriage before? Is that a no as well? Since these three situations didn't happen, how are you engaged with Zai Yai? Since when did he do something sorry to you? If Zai Yai was really in the wrong, he wouldn't let him off. However, he also couldn't make Zai Yai a scapegoat for something that didn't exist. Chapter 2536, Miaojing and Zai Yai, 37. Didn't both our families know about us and silently agreed to it? How was it that she and Zai Yai were unrelated? Weren't these relations? They were related. Shi Peng disagreed. Silently agreed to it. What kind of answer is this? Can things like marriage be silently agreed to? Minlin, let me tell you. You're losing out on this situation because of this attitude. The so-called silent agreement couldn't even be considered a promise. There was no matchmaker and no certificate. If word of this spread, the Zai family might have little reason, but their Shi family was even more unreliable. If both families really had the intention for their children to get married to each other, why didn't they say so clearly in the first place? Even if the Zai family didn't say it clearly, there's still the Shi family. Didn't the Shi family have the intention to say things clearly as well? Everyone knew that the Zai family's status was higher than the Shi family's. How would the Shi family's attitude not make people doubt that the Shi family was interested in the power of the Zai family? After that, they didn't dare to urge the Zai family for fear that the marriage between Qi Minlin and Zai Yai would be ruined if they annoyed the Zai family. Shi Peng knew that his father had some thoughts. His sister had quite a lot of thoughts as well. He didn't expect these thoughts to be quite unreliable. Based on what his sister had said, he couldn't blame Zai Yai even if Zai Yai really married another woman, let alone if Zai Yai didn't acknowledge his relationship with his sister now. Wasn't there a saying that only an officially married woman was considered a wife? Those who didn't walk this clear path were not considered to be serious. All right, if you and Zai Yai don't have any witness in this regard, our family can only suffer this loss in private. Forget it. Zai Yai. It's fine. Let's find another better one. There are benefits even if there's no Zai Yai. Think about it. If Zai Yai doesn't treat you well, based on the Zai family's situation, it won't be as convenient for me as an older brother to help you. If you find another person, I can help you keep an eye on your man. Zai Yai was too powerful. If he really became his brother-in-law, Shi Peng wouldn't have the slightest sense of being an older brother. For a person with a strong aura like Zai Yai, and upon thinking about his sister's style, Shi Peng felt that they were not suitable. Based on how his sister was playing the field, she would anger and annoy Zai Yai sooner or later. Military marriages generally couldn't be divorced. However, nothing was absolute. As he thought about this, Shi Peng felt that it wasn't a bad thing that Zai Yaoai's marriage with the playful Qi Minlan didn't work out. "Brother, am I your sister, or is Zai Yaoai your brother? He bullied me like this, but you're not helping me at all. Brother, are you still my brother? Is there a brother like you?" Qi Minlan was unhappy and dissatisfied with Shi Peng's attitude. "What do you want, then?" Shi Peng had a headache. This was the situation now. Who asked them not to prepare beforehand? The work done in the early phase wasn't well, thus leading to the embarrassing situation now. Why was all the responsibility and blame on him now? "Brother, go create trouble for Zai Yaoai. Help me teach him a lesson. He entered the army 2 or 3 years later than you. You should be better than him, right?" Since Zai Yaoai made her feel uncomfortable emotionally, she was going to make him feel uncomfortable physically. He dared to abandon her. Zai Yaoai did not need to think about leading a peaceful life. Shi Peng didn't really want to bother himself with Qi Minlan, his sister. When Zai Yaoai and Qi Minlan were together in the past, he had always abided by the rules. He never took advantage of Qi Minlan or became particularly close to any girls aside from her. Such an outstanding Zai Yaoai had already done so well. However, Qi Minlan played with a bunch of boys. Even if the marriage between the two didn't happen, Shi Peng couldn't go against his conscience and say that Zai Yaoai had done something sorry to his sister. He could only hide her ugliness and say that they were not suitable for each other. Zai Yaoai wasn't a scumbag to his sister. How could Shi Peng go over and hit Zai Yaoai? Shi Peng wasn't willing. However, Qi Minlan was not willing to let things off just like this. Not only did Shi Peng not get a good rest and be reunited with his family after finally coming home, but he even argued with Qi Minlan until he had a headache. "All right, stop it. I'll go and find Zai Yaoai to settle scores, okay?" Upon knowing that if he didn't agree to Qi Minlan, she would definitely not let him off, Shi Peng hurriedly raised his hands up in surrender, signaling that he would listen to her. Qi Minlan smiled. "Brother, I know that you treat me the best. Brother, don't be merciful when you lay a hand on him. I'm feeling so uncomfortable now that I want to die. My heart aches until I can't breathe. Think of how uncomfortable I am now, and you will know how heavy a hand you should lay on Zai Yaoai then." "Okay, I'll listen to you." Shi Peng stood up, picked up his clothes, and left. Qi Minlan kept following Shi Peng, which made him more speechless. Qi Minlan smiled only when she saw Shi Peng walk in the direction of the Zai family with her own eyes. "Zai Yaoai, you abandoned me. Don't think that it's so easy to bully me, Qi Minlan. You want to marry a girl from the countryside? We'll see how embarrassing you and your Zai family are in the future." Even if Zai Yaoai was regretful for not marrying her back then, she definitely would not show him any good looks. Her brother was right. Without Zai Yaoai, she could still find someone else. There were so many men in this world. Why did she have to be so fixated on Zai Yaoai? Zai Yaoai would definitely be making a wrong decision by marrying Miao Jing. However, she was going to marry the right person and show Zai Yaoai how happy she was. Qi Minlan walked over to the Zai family slowly since Shi Peng had not yet returned after an hour. Qi Minlan knew that there was a small empty house behind the Zai family's house. Although it was said to be a small house, it wasn't small at all. Old Zai had trained Zai Yaoai's skills in this small house. Sometimes, Shi Peng would come over here to train as well. As such, Qi Minlan was quite familiar with this small house. Knock. Knock. Please enter. Zai Yaoai's rapid breathing could be heard from inside. Qi Minlan pushed open the door and entered. She saw Zai Yaoai in a sorry state. His clothes seemed to be tattered, and he was sitting on the ground, wiping his sweat profusely. Qi Minlan's eyes shone first. Then, she looked nervous. "Brother Zai, are you all right? How can my brother do this?" Zai Yaoai remained silent and didn't say anything. Brothers, don't misunderstand. I've already persuaded my brother. Since you feel that we aren't suitable for each other and you only treat me as a sister, I'll respect your decision no matter how much I like you. We've already decided on this. Perhaps I looked too upset when I returned. My brother got angry and I've already persuaded my brother. Really, I couldn't hold him back. I don't know what happened to him. He became so bad-tempered. Chapter 2537, Miaojing and Ziyai, 38. Brothers, I apologize to you on behalf of my brother. Really, he's just feeling heartache for me. He didn't hit you deliberately. I hope you can forgive my brother. If you really want to blame someone, blame me. My brother did this for me. I will try my best to control my emotions in the future and not look so sad or uncomfortable so that my brother wouldn't find you trouble in the future anymore. Oh. After a long while, Ziyai replied indifferently. Oh. Qi Minlin couldn't help but repeat his words. What kind of answer was this? She was hurt so badly by Ziyai and had suffered so many grievances. She didn't allow her brother to take revenge, and Ziyai only gave her an "oh." Where was Ziyai's conscience? Where were his guilt and remorse? Is there anything else? Ziyai stood up. He wiped his face and neck with a towel. She had to say that the physique of a man who was a soldier was really attractive. He was like a walking hormonal machine. Even women who didn't know how to appreciate muscled men could not help but blush when they witnessed this scene. Qi Minlin's eyes floated for a while. She didn't look at Ziyai's looming and well-defined chest muscles. Nothing else. If that's the case, go back. I have to take a shower. Qi Minlin took a breath. Brothers, are you angry at me because of my brother? Her brother wanted to hit Ziyai. What did this have to do with her? Ziyai's attitude wasn't right. Was his conscience really eaten by a dog? No, Ziyai hung the towel on his neck. I really have something to attend to. Oh. I'll head back then. Ziyai's attitude was quite infuriating. Was Ziyai angry as he had fought with Xi Peng? Qi Minlin couldn't tell from Ziyai's expressionless face if he was angry, and even if he was, she also couldn't tell if he was angry at Xi Peng or her. Out of helplessness, Qi Minlin could only leave solemnly once again. Once Qi Minlin left, Xi Peng walked over from the small room next to him. After laughing at himself, he sat next to Ziyai and said nothing. Ziyai looked at Xi Peng pitifully. Xi Peng was quite unlucky to have such a sister. Xi Peng wasn't an unreasonable person. Even if Qi Minlin cried and kicked up a fuss, it was impossible for Xi Peng to find Ziyai and beat him up. Both of them had the habit of exchanging blows with each other. In order to pacify Qi Minlin, Xi Peng came over to exchange blows with Ziyai after promising her verbally. Actually, Qi Minlin wasn't very observant. It was never an overwhelming victory for either Ziyai or Xi Peng. If the two of them really fought hand to hand, it was impossible for Ziyai to just have tattered clothes and sweat profusely. No matter what, his face would be bruised and swollen, and there would be blood at the corners of his mouth, right? Based on Ziyai's look just now, it could only be proven that Ziyai was engaged in rigorous exercise, not a fight. Xi Peng didn't say anything after he arrived. He just said that he wanted to practice with Ziyai. Coincidentally, after Grandma Zai kicked up a fuss, Ziyai felt troubled in his heart, and exchanging blows with Xi Peng could allow him to vent his frustration. Who knew that Qi Minlin would come knocking on the door at this time and separately make her presence known in front of Ziyai and Xi Peng respectively? After hearing Qi Minlin's words, how would Ziyai not understand that Xi Peng was forced over by her? Qi Minlin was obviously the one who forced Xi Peng over to teach Ziyai a lesson. In the blink of an eye, Qi Minlin confused right and wrong and pushed all the blame and responsibility to Xi Peng alone. Ziyai was very happy that he really only regarded Qi Minlin as a sister. Otherwise, based on Qi Minlan's character, there would never be a peaceful day at home. Get lost. What kind of look is that? Xi Peng was feeling uncomfortable in his heart. The truest side of his sister was finally shown to Zai Yai. However, after becoming the betrayed person, Xi Peng didn't feel good in his heart. Zai Yai patted Xi Peng's shoulder. If you're feeling uncomfortable, don't hold it back. You can practice with me. This matter more or less has something to do with me. Xi Peng flung Zai Yai's hand away. There's no need to. Zai Yai knew that his sister, Qi Minlan, had a lot of thoughts. Could it be that Xi Peng felt this the first time today? Xi Peng had long realized that ever since Qi Minlan knew why she was surnamed Qi and not Shi, she became weird and her character wasn't as likable as before. It was just that he became the party concerned today and deeply experienced this again. However, I still have to congratulate you that the marriage with my sister didn't work out. Otherwise, you would have plenty to worry about at home in the future. Even though she was his biological sister, Xi Peng had to admit that Qi Minlan was trouble. Zai Yai smiled. I'll no longer need to have a headache over your sister, but you do. Things between him and Qi Minlan didn't work out and they were now brother and sister. This meant the two of them wouldn't have anything to do with each other in the future. However, Qi Minlan was going to be Xi Peng's sister this lifetime. Could Xi Peng continue to not be involved in her matters? Xi Peng's face fell and he lay on the ground, not wanting to move. Thank you. I still remember this. I don't need you to remind me. After Xi Peng returned to the Xi family, Qi Minlan acted as if nothing had happened in front of Xi Peng. She surrounded him and kept addressing him as her good brother. The more passionate she was, the colder Xi Peng's heart was as he listened by the side. While they were having a meal, Elder Xi suddenly said, Xi Peng, how's your competition with Zai Yai? Is the possibility of you getting a promotion higher than Zai Yai? Xi Peng paused in his action of eating. Initially, he didn't plan to share this matter with his father. He didn't expect him to actually find out about it through other means. Whoever won in this competition would mean that he had a high chance of becoming the successor of Chief Zai, an old revolutionary. Qi Minlan's eyes shone. Brother, will you be the next chief candidate if you win? If that was really the case, what was the point of her trying every means to be with Zai Yai? Although being the chief's sister didn't sound as nice as being the chief's wife, at least she had something to do with the chief. Upon seeing how concerned his father and sister were, Xi Peng felt uncomfortable in his heart. None of these two relatives considered for his good. In the face of such selfish concern, Xi Peng felt cold in his heart. Indeed, there is this matter. Are you confident? Old Master Xi's hand trembled and he became agitated. He no longer touched his favorite dishes. Wasn't that the position that Old Master Xi had been persevering for all this while? Chapter 2538, Miaojing and Zai Yai, 39. It was fine if he wasn't in that position. He still had his son and grandson. As long as his descendants could do it, it similarly meant that their Xi family was no worse than others. The opportunity that Old Master Xi had been yearning for had finally arrived. As such, Old Master Xi didn't allow Xi Peng to make any mistakes in this matter. He had to win against Zai Yai and get that position. Brother, you're so formidable. Furthermore, you entered the army 3 years earlier than Zai Yai. Brother, I believe that you can definitely do it. Xi Peng wondered. Was that so? It was only today that he found out how high a position he held in his sister's heart. It was just that the matter his sister asked him to do was really difficult. She was confident in him, but he wasn't. Would that do? After what had happened today, Xi Peng's mentality for Qi Minlan had undergone great changes. Xi Peng was very unwilling to believe that his biological sister acted differently in public and in private. However, the truth told him that Qi Minlan was indeed such a person. The saddest thing was that he was the target of her double-crossing. He could not help but feel upset. When she was making use of him, she discredited him in front of Zai Yai without even thinking about him. When she needed him, she addressed him as her brother with so much affection. Seeing how Qi Minlin ran around like a butterfly among the flowers and the more affectionate Qi Minlin was to him, the more uncomfortable Xi Peng felt in his heart. Such a person was his only biological sister. Xi Peng laughed and didn't dare to think too much. He was afraid that the more he thought about it, the more he would suffer. As Xi Peng was competing with Zai Yai now, even if Zai Yai had already told Qi Minlin that it was impossible between them and that he only treated her like a biological sister, Qi Minlin was still in a good mood every day. Previously, Qi Minlin still kept a distance from the other boys she was dating, but from then on, Qi Minlin could be said to have simply let herself go. Qi Minlin revealed to others, either intentionally or unintentionally, that she was now single and could accept other people's pursuits. Upon hearing the news, Lanlin was undoubtedly the most depressed. "Minlin, isn't that woman already gone? Why did you break up with Zai Yai? It couldn't be, right? Aren't the two of you engaged? You actually gave up such a good man like Zai Yai. Won't that woman from the countryside benefit from this then? How good was Zai Yai? He was good looking and had a good family background. If Qi Minlin didn't want Zai Yai, she would definitely regret it in the future. No matter if she had little knowledge or not, Zai Yai was the most outstanding man out of everyone she saw. If she were Qi Minlin, she would definitely stay by Zai Yai's side and not leave him. She would also not let Zai Yai have the opportunity to break up with her. Was Minlin a fool for losing such a good boyfriend and then finding someone who was worse? What benefits are there? Qi Minlin was stubborn. Qi Minlin, have such good conditions. Plenty of people would want me. Lanlin, don't worry. I'll definitely do the things that I've promised you. Even if I and Zai Yai broke up, I will definitely introduce you to a good match in the future. It's a pity that my dad is quite old-fashioned. Otherwise, I would have just introduced you to my brother and let you be my sister-in-law." Lanlin blushed. "Minlin, what nonsense are you uttering?" She knew how high Uncle Shi's standards were. Uncle Shi didn't agree to let her be friends with Minlin at the start. Had she dared to have unrealistic ideas about being Uncle Shi's daughter-in-law, she would have long disappeared from Minlin's side. "Lanlin, I'm telling you this as you're my best friend. I'm not going to tell anyone else. My brother is competing with Zai Yai. As long as my brother wins, he should be the next chief in the future. Even if Zai Yai is capable, he would just be basking in his dad's glory. What does he have? A man like him isn't as good as you think he is. My brother relied on his abilities to become the chief. That's what I call capable." Qi Minlin was really quite proud of this. Lanlin frowned and didn't want to say anything to agitate Qi Minlin. However, she really wanted to ask, "Aren't they competing? The results aren't out yet." Why was Qi Minlin so certain that the winner would definitely be Brother Shi instead of Zai Yai? Everyone in school had heard about how formidable Zai Yai was. If the eventual winner was really Zai Yai, Qi Minlin would really be left with nothing. "Minlin, don't you want to be well prepared? Even if Zai Yai really lost to your brother, he's pretty good as well. If, and I say if, Zai Yai won, what will you do? If you continue to be together with Zai Yai, you're not the future chief's sister but the future chief's wife. You will still gain in the end. Isn't that good? Wasn't this more secure?" Could it be that Qi Minlin didn't understand this? However, the current situation didn't allow her to make such a decision. "You don't know that my brother entered the army a few years earlier than Zai Yai. He has performed well. Zai Yai is only in the army for a year. On what basis is he competing with my brother? I'm certain that my brother will win. Zai Yai is so bad-tempered. Isn't he ignoring me because his father is the chief? When my brother becomes the chief, I'll see if he still treats me coldly like before. Even if she really still wanted to be together with Zai Yai as she thought he was the best, she had to wait until her brother defeated Zai Yai and became the chief. Qi Minlan believed that by then, she didn't need to take the initiative to find Zai Yai. Zai Yai would repent and seek her forgiveness. Didn't Qi Minlan like Zai Yai because he was Chief Zai's son? If Qi Minlan was such a person, she naturally felt that others were the same. Seeing how confident Qi Minlan was, Lanlan could only swallow her words of persuasion so that the two of them wouldn't argue. Miaojing naturally didn't know about the Zai family's matters. After leaving the Zai family, Miaojing didn't adapt well for a period of time at the start. After all, the Zai family's conditions were too good. Thankfully, Miaojing had led an extremely miserable life at second Uncle Miao's house. As such, she had already trained her adaptability. After Miaojing got used to working life, she looked better every day and there were more smiles on her face. Are you counting money again? Haven't I told you that if you have money, don't always take it out? You have to keep it well. If you lose it, there's no point crying then. Miaojing's colleague saw Miaojing counting money and couldn't help but remind her. Chapter 2539, Miaojing and Zai Yai, 40. As colleagues, everyone appeared kind and friendly on the surface. However, when it came to money, nothing was certain. Even if they stayed in the same dormitory, who knew what kind of person the roommates were? I won't lose it, Miaojing answered confidently. I've already accumulated 100 yuan. I'm going to return this to someone. She had earned this sum of money with her hard work. She could finally repay the favors of the Zai family. Even if there wasn't enough money and it was far less than what the Zai family had spent on her, it was fine. She was still young. She would return 100 yuan this time and another 100 yuan the next. A few years down the road, she could naturally clear her debt. That relative of yours? Her colleague had heard of Miaojing's situation. There was no choice. Miaojing's monthly salary was 50 to 60 yuan. That was quite a lot. However, Miaojing was always reluctant to spend it on food or clothes. When the salary was paid, she always kept it well. She had never seen her spend a single cent. Based on this, couldn't Miaojing save 100 yuan after 2 months? Speaking of which, that relative of yours treats you well. Upon thinking that Miaojing had no parents but her relative was willing to fetch her over to stay and groom her to study, she felt that it was really rare to have such honest relatives nowadays. Yes, I will definitely repay them well in the future. Miaojing was well liked in the factory as she felt grateful to others and was seeking ways to return their kindness. Even if Miaojing rarely mentioned this relative's situation and didn't share much content other than she was full of gratitude, anyone could guess that Miaojing's relative was in good condition. Why was that the case? Miaojing's job was not bad, right? Being a worker at a factory was a good job that many people yearned for. One had to know that everyone knew how many workers were needed in each factory. Under normal circumstances, newbies couldn't get in. Only if the parents working as workers gave up their positions to their children would there be slight changes to personnel in the factory. When Miaojing got in, no one in the factory had given up their position for her. That said, Miaojing's relative was really capable. Secondly, look at Miaojing's dressing. Miaojing's clothes weren't bad, and they were 50 to 60% new. Miaojing had said before that she didn't have parents. So, where did these new clothes come from? They must have been bought by that relative. Miaojing had such a capable and wealthy relative. As long as Miaojing was more thick-skinned and stayed close to them, Miaojing could rely on them for a living forever without having to work. However, Miaojing didn't. Not only did she take the initiative to work, but she even saved all her salaries so that she could pay the relative back. Based on Miaojing's actions, the elders in the factory thought highly of her. They felt that she was a rare good girl. Really, based on Miaojing's good character, a lot of people would have gone to the Miao family and wanted them to be their in-laws if not for Miao Jing having no parents and there was no one left in her family. However, even if that was the case, it wasn't that no one had developed a sharp eye for discovering capable people. On the contrary, people who fancied Miao Jing and wanted to find a chance to interact with her might not be the best rounded, but their conditions weren't bad. Miao Jing, are you really not joining us for the movie the night after tomorrow? Don't worry about it being too late. A lot of male colleagues from our factory will be going as well. It's definitely safe. If it wasn't safe, I wouldn't have dared to go myself. Her colleague blinked and said to Miao Jing, "You're going to your relative's house tomorrow. You can watch a movie the day after tomorrow. Isn't this schedule great? There won't be any delay at all." Miao Jing shook her head. "I'm not going. Watching a movie costs money. Rather than spending money on boring things like watching movies, she'd rather save it so that she could return it to the Zai family sooner." Her colleague became anxious. "How much does it cost for a movie ticket? Furthermore, you don't have to spend a single cent, someone's treating you." Most importantly, the person treating her was a male colleague. Miao Jing insisted. "If someone's treating, then all the more I'm not going. It's not easy for me to earn money. It isn't easy for anyone to earn money. How would I have the cheek to take advantage of people like that? How can I go just because someone's willing to treat me? I'm not going." She was really not used to spending other people's money. "It's late. I'm tired. I shall sleep first." As she said this, Miao Jing packed up her things and removed her clothes. She lay on the bed and fell asleep quickly. Upon seeing Miao Jing like this, her colleague sighed. Did Miao Jing understand? If male and female colleagues went to watch a movie together, it was equivalent to going on a date. Miao Jing had already moved out of her relative's house. She had to find a marriage partner and give birth to children, right? Seeing that they were still young and could afford to be picky, Miao Jing should look around more. Don't casually find someone to marry only after they became old. That would be suffering a loss. Her colleague had the heart to persuade her, but Miao Jing was already asleep. Out of helplessness, her colleague could only sleep as well. She was thinking of how to explain to that male colleague who fancied Miao Jing the day after tomorrow so that he wouldn't misunderstand her. It was fine that they didn't make it to the movies this time. There was always another time. The times were different now. The movies in the cinema played at an increased frequency. Meow meow, you're here to visit Aunt. Once Miao Jing returned to the Zai family, the sick Grandma Zai immediately regained her spirits. She held Miao Jing's hand and sat down. When they chatted, she looked alive. How were you at the factory for the past 2 months? Have you adapted well? Are you getting along well with your colleagues? Did anyone bully you? Grandma Zai's nervous look was as if her daughter who had just joined the workforce was finally home. Grandma Zai was afraid that her precious daughter would be bullied outside and wouldn't tell her that she was suffering. Miao Jing understood that Grandma Zai was concerned about her. As such, she shared some details with her. "Aunt, don't worry. My colleagues treat me well. They even invited me to watch a movie tomorrow. There would be a lot of people." A lot of people. Grandma Zai became alert. Are they all female colleagues? No, there are male colleagues as well. They invited me to a movie and even said that I don't need to pay as they'll be treating me. You really don't have to worry about me. I'm good outside. The speaker had no particular intention of mentioning something, but the listener read too much into it. There were male colleagues, and they even wanted to pay for Miao Jing's movie ticket. If nothing was brewing, Grandma Zai expressed that she would have lived for years in vain. A male colleague invited you to a movie? Is it during the day or night? It's not a male colleague who invited me but my female colleague who lives in the same dormitory as me. It's at night. It's because it's at night that male colleagues are joining us. It's safer for everyone to stay together. Chapter 2540, Miaojing and Zai Yaowai, 41. But I didn't accept the invitation. It's quite tiring working every day. If I have free time, it would be better to read some books or get more rest. That was truly how Miaojing felt. The factory didn't allow her to do it, and she had to remain in the dormitory. Otherwise, Miaojing would definitely have spent her time doing some handicraft instead of watching a movie. It was true that her pay was low, but it was money nonetheless. The Zai family had spent quite a lot of money on her. All she thought about was how she could earn more money to repay the Zai family as soon as possible. Since the factory didn't allow her to start her own small business, she would much rather remain in the dormitory to read than watch a movie with a bunch of people. Grandma Zai grabbed hold of Miaojing's hand and smiled. That's true. It's tiring to work and run around when you have the free time. She had a sense of whether others had feelings for Miao Miao. But she was also sure that Miao Miao had no feelings for the other party. If Miao Miao felt that the other party was good, Yaowai would stand no chance. Miao Miao, after you left, I had no one to chat with. Since you guys have the time for a movie tomorrow night, why don't you stay here with me instead tonight? Miaojing shook her head. That won't do. I still have to work tomorrow. I just end an hour and a half earlier than usual tomorrow. It would be much more convenient to stay in the dormitory so that she would be able to get to work on time. If she were to stay in the Zai family's house, she would surely be late unless she woke up exceptionally early. Oh. Grandma Zai didn't want Miaojing to lose sleep just to spend time with her. Then, can you visit me again tomorrow? Look, I'm the only one in such a big house. Sometimes, I feel that there's no point in living such a life anymore. Her son was all grown up and was of marriageable age, but he had delayed his plans time and again and had even rejected his only marriage partner a month ago. Grandma Zai didn't know when Zai Yaowai would finally be willing to get married and give her a grandchild. She was home alone and had nothing to do. This loneliness was driving her crazy. Miaojing felt a little embarrassed but could feel Grandma Zai's loneliness. Thus, she had no choice but to nod. All right. I'll visit you again tomorrow. Auntie, it isn't early anymore. I'll head back first. All right. I'll see you again tomorrow. Grandma Zai was over the moon, and even when old Zai returned, she was still smiling widely. What's the matter? Why are you in such a good mood? Miao Miao came to visit me and said that she'll come again tomorrow. Oh right, Miao Miao brought me a present. I haven't opened it yet. Oh, it's a scarf. It's beautiful and warm. As Grandma Zai took the scarf up and wrapped it around her neck, a few notes fell to the ground. Miao Miao. It turned out that Miao Miao hadn't come to visit her but to return her money today. In the short span of 2 months. Not only had Miaojing earned enough to buy a present for Grandma Zai, but she had even returned them 100 yuan. Old Zai was impressed. All right, Miao Miao is being filial to you. Just accept it. Once Miao Miao and Yaowai get married in the future, the money will still be theirs eventually. It doesn't matter who keeps the money for now. Just treat it as though you're safe keeping it for the children. It was no big deal. I'm worried that Miao Miao isn't eating well or taking care of herself just to save this sum of money. Do you understand? No, Miao Miao knows that her health is her capital. You're underestimating Miao Miao. I'm underestimating Miao Miao? Then, do you think very highly of your son? What do you mean? Old Zai stopped in his tracks and walked over to sit down next to Grandma Zai. Grandma Zai sighed. Miao Miao told me today that a male worker invited her to watch a movie for free tomorrow night. What do you think that male worker means? Do you think he has too much money to spare that he's treating Miao Miao to a movie at night? Thankfully, Miao Miao didn't agree to it. Otherwise. No, I feel so panicked. Oh. Old Zai couldn't ignore the matter either. Wait a minute. Let me make a call to Yaowai. Old Zai had already guessed that someone would surely fall for a good young lady like Miao Jing. What he had not expected was his son's love rival to appear so quickly. It had only been 2 months since Miao Jing had started working. Wasn't this a little too fast? Hello, Dad. What's the matter? In order to prove himself and show that he was outstanding in and of himself, and not just because he was his father's son, Zai Yaowai didn't have much rest each day. Zai Yaowai had only taken a break a month ago because his leader had forced him to do so along with Shi Peng. A male worker invited Miao Miao for a movie tomorrow night. He's paying for her. Zai Yaowai, who had a fountain pen in his hand, was stunned. Not only had he ruined his writing, but he had even pierced a hole through several pieces of paper because of how hard he was pressing down on the pen. Looking at the pen, Zai Yaowai knew that he had ruined his pen. As such, Zai Yaowai took out a new pen from his drawer, pulled out the cap, and tried to fill the pen with ink. But even after a long time, he had not been able to fill it properly. Zai Yaowai took a deep breath and gave up on the pen. Is Miao Miao going? Do you think Miao Miao should go? Of course not. Why was this even a question? It's too unsafe for her to be going out alone with a man at night. It will be bad for her reputation as well. If that male comrade has feelings for Miao Miao, he should come to our house and visit us. He's too frivolous, not suitable for Miao Miao. Zai Yaowai had just stopped short of saying that the other party might be a beast that was waiting to take advantage of Miao Miao. What would they do then? You spend all your time in the military and don't even get to see any girls. What do you know? We're in a free society. Young people are free to date whoever they like. What's wrong with them trying to get to know each other through watching a movie together? I think Miao Miao should go. Miao Miao's greatest wish in her whole life is to have a family of her own. Isn't our family her family? She already has one. Zai Yaowai raised his voice as anger bubbled up within him. Wasn't she being too greedy to desire another family when she already had one? That's her extended family. Miao Miao should have a small family of her own. But it doesn't matter even if you think that Miao Miao's male colleague isn't good. I already said that it will be easy for us to recommend a good male comrade to Miao Miao given our family's status. Chapter 2541, Miao Jing and Zai Yaowai, 42. Anyway, you don't have a partner and aren't thinking of getting married yet. Why don't we recommend a partner to Miao Miao and let her get married first? Miao Miao's child will be no different from a biological grandchild to your mom and me. In that way, we will definitely stop urging you to get married as soon as possible. It'll be a way out for you too, and you'll be able to focus on your career in the military. It was the perfect solution. He was truly considerate of his son as a father, or rather, he couldn't go easy on his son as a father. Fine, Zai Yaowai's expression was dark and he no longer wanted to talk to his father. If there's nothing else, I'm going to hang up. Okay, go on. By the time you return the next time, you might have a little nephew. Do you think Miao Miao's first child will be a girl or a boy? Before old Zai could finish his words, he heard a muffled yet amusing sound coming from the other end of the call. You ingrate! Wait and see what I'll do to you. What's wrong? Grandma Zai asked worriedly. Don't worry. That rascal will definitely find a way to come back as soon as possible to marry Miao Miao. Having grandchildren? I want to have my own biological grandchildren. Grandma Zai was elated. Are you serious? But Yaowai has only been back in the military for a month. Is it right for us to call him back for Miao Miao's sake when it's such a critical period for him now? We'll be wronging Miao Miao if Yaowai blames her for having failed to be promoted this time. My son isn't the kind of irresponsible man who will push the blame to women. Only by solving his personal matters will he be able to serve the country and people better. It isn't too good to remain single for his whole life either. Then, the organization would eventually have to step in and help resolve his personal matters. If his son were to return and get married, his leaders would no longer have to worry about his son's marriage. What was wrong with that? Will Yaoi really be able to return? That sounded incredulous. Was her son really the kind of man who would give up everything else for a woman? Of course. Old Zai answered with absolute confidence. Like father, like son. He had joined the army to fight against the Japanese soldiers so as to protect his wife and son. If Yaoi was no longer able to get promoted just because he returned to hold a wedding and get married, that simply meant that he was not capable enough. Anyway, throughout his long career in the military, he had never heard of anyone ever being passed over for a promotion just because he got married. On the other hand, the leaders in the military grew even more concerned about one's personal matters if they were talented. A father should know his son best. Not only did Zai Yaoi return after 3 days, but old Zai had even received a call from the military before Zai Yaoi returned. This? Oh, all right. I understand. Of course, how could I not know that my son's getting married? My daughter-in-law is my close friend's daughter. That female comrade is outstanding and good. It's the Zai family's blessing that Yaoi is able to marry her. It's true that her family background is average, but she's a good lady. Yes, that's the case. You can just approve it. Getting married? Grandma Zai asked. Yaoi submitted a marriage report to the military. Grandma Zai was in a panic. He submitted it? No, how could I as a mother not know that Yaoi is getting married? Besides, who is he marrying? She was in a daze. Who? Who else? Of course, it's Meow Meow. Meow Meow's name was on the report. I already said that that rascal was only putting on an act. Now that he knows that another male comrade likes Meow Meow, he can't continue pretending anymore. A bast asterisk RD like that should be stimulated at times too. The first person who had been provoked in this matter was Zai Yaoi. Of course, the second was naturally Miao Jing. Miao Jing widened her eyes and stared at the solemn man in a military uniform in front of her. Brother Zai, what did you say? The wind was blowing too strongly and I didn't hear you clearly. Zai Yaoi unbuttoned his top button. I've already submitted the marriage report. Take your identity card. Let's go get our marriage certificate now. Miao Jing forced a smile out. Brother Zai, are you kidding? You have a fiancé. A joke like that wasn't funny at all. It was mean. Firstly, military marriages are protected. Secondly, it's illegal to get remarried. Thirdly, I don't have a fiancé. What Zai Yaoi was trying to say was that he didn't have a fiancé, much less any history of ever getting married. If there was something wrong, the person who would be punished due to this marriage would be him. Since he had already made the decision to get married to Miao Jing, he would naturally take full responsibility. Miao Jing could rest assured since military marriages were protected and it was against the law to get divorced. Miao Jing's expression darkened. Brother Zai, I don't understand why you are suddenly telling me all this. But since you've asked me, I have to give you an answer. I'm sorry. I won't marry you. No one but Miao Jing could understand how complicated and painful it had been for Miao Jing to decide to move out of the Zai family's house. The Zai family was the first that ever treated Miao Jing sincerely and kindly. As such, all 3 members of the Zai family held special places in Miao Jing's heart. Old Zai always mentioned her getting together with Zai Yaoi. As a normal young lady, Miao Jing could only constantly remind herself that it was impossible between her and Zai Yaoi since he was so outstanding and that she had better not hold old Zai accountable for his words. Otherwise, she would eventually embarrass herself. Even though she maintained a cool expression on the surface, Miao Jing couldn't help but think of the thousands of possibilities and waver. What if? It was only when she left the Zai family's house that Miao Jing stopped thinking about all these hypothetical scenarios. Only Miao Jing herself understood just how moved she was when Zai Yaoi suddenly showed up in front of her, saying that he wanted to get married to her, because she had been maintaining her distance from him. Zai Yaowai wouldn't accept Miao Jing's rejection. But at the same time, Zai Yaowai wanted to protect his dignity and refused to admit that he had feelings for Miao Jing. With just one glance, he knew that Miao Jing felt the same way as he did and had feelings for him too. Instead of wasting time by arguing with each other, Zai Yaowai strode forward and lifted Miao Jing. Then, he explained to Miao Jing's colleagues. I'm sorry for disturbing all of you. I'm Miao Miao's partner, and I've been busy in the military. I've finally gotten the time recently to submit my marriage report. I'm going to get my marriage certificate with Miao Miao now. We'll treat you to wedding candies another day. Years later, even after her 3 grandchildren had been born, Miao Jing never forgot how Zai Yaowai had lifted her up with her stomach on his shoulder. It had felt awful as the blood rushed to her head. At the thought of this, Miao Jing couldn't help but slap Zai Yaowai who was lying beside her. Don't you think you were too much? I didn't even need you to be as romantic as young people nowadays or to give me a romantic proposal. But you were no different from a robber at that time. I refused to marry you but you carried me away. Miao Jing couldn't help but suspect that she had only signed her name on the certificate because of how dazed she had been. By the time she received the certificate, it was too late to regret anything. Zai Yaowai was confused. Their grandchildren were already in university. Why was Miao Jing suddenly bringing up the past? He hugged Miao Jing and flipped over. Your son has been asking me if I have been half-hearted lately. That's why you've been turning your attention to his wife and children. Since you can't fall asleep, let's do something that will improve our relationship as a couple. He didn't even give Miao Jing the chance to refuse, acting just as domineering as he had been when he had carried Miao Jing to get their marriage certificate. They were an old couple, but they were still loving and sweet. Miao Jing, who was being pressed under him, thought that this was not bad, after all. Her happiness might have come a little later in life, but at least, it had eventually come. Zai Yaowai, do you think you can be gentler and tell me earlier that you like me in our next lifetime? Miao Miao, if we have a next lifetime, I'll definitely tell you that I like you and want you to be my wife earlier.